Hate it when that happens. Hello, welcome to the Reloading Podcast here on the Firearms Radio Network, presented by Primary Arms. So, who the heck is that in the lower corner?
That's
Oh,
Paul. It's Paul Nelson.
yeah, I know that's Paul, with a different background as usual. So
Yeah.
he must be over at one of the daughter's houses again.
Yeah. Yep.
But I'm wondering about that goofy-looking guy next to him with that scruffaluffagus beard.
Oh, when you said goofy, then I knew it was talking about me.
Yeah. Howdy, Travis.
Hey,
How are ya?
surviving.
I see this. So, how's life treating you?
Oh, pretty good.
Thanks for being able to join us.
Yeah.
What you been up to?
Just shooting a little 3-gun, little reloading, little of this, little of that.
I saw you made a video and posted it today too.
Oh, yeah. So if you
Nice
guys, I thought so. Thank you.
Your
If you-
video quality of production, your video production quality is definitely way above my level. So,
So if you guys are interested, go over to our channel, and I got a new product from FW Arms. It is his new decapping die, and he has a new hold down foot for like when you're doing progressive reloading on a 1050. It will hold down your brass in that swaging station. But the real nice thing is that decapping die that he came out with. So I got a little video up on our channel. If you guys are interested in one, go over and check that out. I do have a coupon code too if you guys are interested in ordering anything from Will over FW Arms. And that should be for 15% off. And the coupon code is Reload Pod. Pod. Reload Pod.
And you'll get one of the finest decapping dies that are made.
Only the finest.
Only the finest.
I would see. I would grab one. I don't know where I put it. If it's on my tool head still, which it is. The cool thing with this one is, his standard one that we are all familiar with. It obviously just deprimes your cases. Then he went to a second iteration that it's all black, and that's how you can tell if that's the second one. But it has a spring in there, so it like flicks the primers. So a lot of times when you're running progressive presses really fast, automated, you can get primer pullback, and that basically means the primer in one way, shape, or form comes back into or doesn't completely come out of the primer pocket. So when you're running that through your machine, it can kind of jam your machine up. It's kind of a pain in the butt. So the spring on that actually flicks the primer. You can hear this spring action where it, right as it pushes the primer out, you hear a flick. Well, now on to his finest iteration of that die is it's very, very robust, first of all. But it has this really cool feature on there where you can take an Allen wrench and put it through the top, and you can basically turn on or off that feature. So if you don't want to have that flicking action, you can turn it off and it stays like a solid rod and will just decap like normal. And if you turn that on, it'll decap. But at the end of when you're decapping, it activates that spring and it'll give it a little flick, a little extra nudge, and really throw those out of the primer pocket for you. And it's super high quality too. In the video, and then it looks like one way, but if you actually held one in your hand, you can tell it's super high quality. It's worth quite a bit more than what you're going to pay for it, especially if you use that coupon code.
And also, FW Arms makes shell plates for the 1050s.
Yeah. So
Very
If
nice
you
looking.
Yeah, if you watch that video, I do at the end. I do a little just demonstration of it. You can see what Paul's talking about. He also has some really nice tin coated shell plates that he's got on his site, and I've had his very first ones. I've had obviously the standard Dylan shell plates. I've had a couple other companies shell plates, and Will's by far are the best ones that I've been able to try out.
Now, when you say tin, you mean TIN, correct? As in titanium nitride?
Correct.
Okay.
And I believe, I haven't asked him for sure, but I think that's what the new decapping die and hold down foot die is also coated with on the outside. If not, it looks like it is. They're really cool looking. Let me just grab one. It's sitting right there looking at me. I can't help myself. Let me grab one for you real quick.
As well, you should grab it. Dang it. Darn kids. So originally, my plan was to talk about pulling bullets, but I had a family thing come up and couldn't get all my crap together, so we're talking about creating hunting rounds instead. So we'll do pulling bullets next week, because I still got to get that Frankfurt Arsenal pile driver mounted, because it's still sitting over here in the box.
You like it.
Oh, I do. I played with it at SHOT Show, so.
So here's the decapping die. If it can focus on, let's try to focus on too many things there, but you can see it's got some laser etching on there. That's the feature right there. You can turn that on and off with that feature I was talking about with the flicking action. This one is his hold down foot. That one you can kind of see right there. Some of the nice laser engraving that he has on all of this. But I mean, all in all, it's a really nice looking die, both of them. Well, enough about me. Where's did Jim pass away or something? I don't see him joining us.
Jim passed away. He said he was too busy working that he had to turn in. So, and that makes 2 months in a row he's missing his gun club Tuesday night meeting. So he's getting a little long in the tooth.
You say he had to turn in, huh? So
yeah.
Okay, so will they work on a 650 for swaging if I have a Swageit? So I don't see why it wouldn't. Let's see.
No, it won't.
I'm just looking at my 750 here.
No,
the way
won't.
you mount that. Tell us why. Tell us why.
The Swageit goes as you would be doing a priming motion. Okay, so in other words, if the ram isn't going to the top and the swaging bar isn't coming up at the same time, it's when you're
correct.
When you're doing the priming operation, it would be when you're doing the priming operation.
So what Paul's meaning to say is, so normally, like on my 1050, it's automated, but let's say you're pulling the handle and it's either coming up or down. Yeah, let's see, up or down.
Right.
Okay, so the hold down foot is sitting here, and then the brass goes up into it and it holds it down while it's doing its thing. What Paul's meaning in on the 650 or 750, the Swageit is an aftermarket thing, and it will be on the bottom. So when you're priming, you normally do your normal action, and then at the when it's the shell plate's all the way down, you actually push forward to set your primer. So you would actually there's no die going to be there. Basically, is what's I'm getting
Right.
at. There's no dye.
The Dillon 1050 works as everything comes down together all at one time. So the priming, the swaging, everything is at one in all in the downstroke. The 650 and 750 prime on the upstroke. So the aftermarket part would work on the upstroke primer seating position. And Sheen, they will work on a Hornady AP. Those dyes, they're universal. They're 7/8 14. So you have no problem with that. You just
the only one I wouldn't be I like a coax press where the handle, or even maybe the Frankfurt Arsenal's version of the coax press. I'm not sure. This one here actually is shorter than his other ones. But I want to say Jim tried it one time on his coax that didn't have enough clearance. But we'd have to refresh my memory and have someone else who's got a coax chime in and say if we have that problem or not.
I believe that was the case.
It is a big die.
Yep. So
it is a big die.
Yeah.
So Paul, what you been up to?
Not much. Just visiting my my youngest daughter now. So
Fun.
Yeah. We get to that and do a few other things. So
yeah. Nick, your dad says you're swiping clothes from him again?
No, I am not. We both bought one of these shirts. I don't know what he's complained about.
Yeah, well, you know. You get up there in age, your memory goes.
Oh, that's for sure. Well, he's down in the sunshine, so. But other than that, I haven't done too much this week. I cooked some barbecue over the weekend. That's about it. Really anything fun other than working.
Yeah. Trenda? You got to demute yourself first.
There, is that better?
Yeah.
I've been running around with a chicken with my head cut off. Just work. Getting ready to go shoot this Savage Axis that I've nicknamed the Greedy Creedy because it keeps taking all my money. That's how they got me accessories. Still trying to figure out which scopes I like. Still window shopping scopes. Still starting drama with the ladies, getting in trouble with their husbands because now the husbands are like, why are you buying all this gun stuff and this gear? And one lady replied to her husband, it could be worse. I could be sniffing lines. And she picked that up for me. So I don't know what to say. I'm just a bad influence.
it could be worse. You could be shoe shopping.
That too, but she went straight to the lines, and I have said that before. So, not too much. I'm just taking a little break from doing outdoor activities so I can focus on trying to figure out what the hell I'm doing. And then be like, come on, ladies, let's go take over the range for the day.
I don't think you're being a bad influence. I think you're being a good influence.
Well, thank you. But if your wife tells you she could be sniffing lines, you might not think that.
I would really love it if my wife would get into buying guns. So make me wanting another safe a lot easier.
But let me tell y'all something. Since and I hope they don't start checking that stuff. Since Venmo came out, ladies the shopping trend has changed. It is, you get a group text, you get a picture. Hey, I found that 350 Legend you were looking for. It's $15 a box in. And Venmo you $150 and you grab it for me. It's hilarious.
Yep. Oh yeah.
How about you, sir?
Me?
Yep.
I'm working on getting my 30-30 load ready for fall. Other than that, been selling a lot of guns. So, but I did see some Kent bismuth at the store yesterday for $619.99 for 10 boxes of 25 each. Yeah, no. I mean, 10 pounds of bismuth is $169 from Rotometals. So I mean, it's not like bismuth's cheap, but yeah. So
that was only 10 boxes, 250 rounds.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought that was a 500 round case.
Oh no.
Oh.
No. Sorry, I didn't make that clear in the message, Paul. No,
yeah, I thought that was only $1.30 a shot.
No, that was
yeah.
Yeah, that was 250 rounds.
Yeah. Oh boy. Now we're talking $2.60 a shot plus tax.
Uh-huh.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Cool.
Did y'all introduce this celebrity we have on tonight? Did I miss that?
Yeah,
I had
you
someone
missed
at my
all that.
door. Okay.
Yeah, you missed that.
You missed all that. They talked about all that good stuff, and you're behind the 8 ball again there, Shrenda.
Yeah, I had to get the door. Sorry.
So
You'll get that.
So she is talking to Athlon now for a scope, along with Primary Arms
And Bushnell so far.
And Bushnell so far.
Nice.
Yeah.
Shrenda, have you looked at the Arkin scopes?
No, and somebody mentioned those to me. I can't think of his name right now. Yes.
I don't think that's it, but they're awesome.
You're
Well,
very
I was-
memorable, Paul.
No, I was going through the list of who the hell have I all bugged about good scopes to look at. But yes, I have not reached out to them yet to ask them questions.
So my buddy is a dealer for the Athlon scopes, so I've looked through quite a bit of those. I actually went ahead and purchased one of the Arkin SH. What is it? 4 to 24, I think is what they are. And
5 to 25 or 6 to 24.
Okay.
So the SH4.
And I was very impressed with it. The turrets are super. Everything about it is nice.
Okay.
They at the time the EP5 was not available. Otherwise, I would have purchased that one. And that's like their higher end scope is the EP5, and that's the one that's 5 to 25.
Okay.
Right, Paul? And
Yes.
that's the one I really wanted because it's the glass is supposed to be quite a bit nicer. But the one that I purchased, it is super nice. Like, I don't remember how much I paid for it. It was they usually you can find it. There's a YouTube channel you can find. He had a 30% off discount code for it. So you had to add the scope to your shopping cart, but then they also sell like this package deal that has the mount. Like basically every single thing they sell is in this package deal. You
Okay.
add that to it, enter this discount code, and it basically takes off that package deal. So you get that whole thing for free. The mount and everything ends up being free. And I think I paid, it was maybe, don't quote me, maybe under $6 for everything with that discount code.
That doesn't sound horrible at the prices that I've been seeing, but I can tell you the only ones that have not called me back is Vortex. They're probably like, girl, we don't care about your questions. Our product is our product. It is what it is. Yeah. So.
Yeah. So when I was looking at that, the Arkin scope, I was also looking at the Vortex Strike Eagle, and I really liked the Arkin scope.
You liked it better than the Vortex?
Yeah.
And you're a product snob, Travis. So that
Sometimes
I'm
I'm not as snobby as Paul on his stuff. He's more high end.
Look,
I'm below Paul, but I was really impressed with that scope.
Look, if you buy everything Paul tell you, he'll have you selling a kidney on the black market to be able to get some of the stuff, because he's constantly yelling Kradoff at me. Or Parazzi. I'm sorry, Parazzi.
Dude, a kidney's not going to cover that. By
I
the way,
know.
I got a single barrel Parazzi at the gun library for $1,500.
You know, it will sit there.
If you listen to Paul's recommendations on the stuff he wants you to buy, I'd have to start an OnlyFans to afford.
Tell me about it.
Or a feet finder.
Look, you'll be showing more than feet on there to afford the things that
What the heck is Feet Finder?
Don't act like you don't know, Mike.
What?
Hey, even I know what that was. There's been plenty of dark times when I
don't. I may have to go find out what Feet Finder is.
So have you heard, like,
need some money?
My wife made $5,000 on OnlyFans last month. Now I have to tell her she has an OnlyFans account.
I've heard of that one. Hey, Ray said do a GoFundMe. Ray, those are only for burying people that spend thousands of dollars on scopes instead of getting life insurance to bury themselves. Just kidding. Just kidding. Just kidding.
Anyway.
I just support the barrel industry. That's all.
Yeah.
Hey.
Yeah, you do.
I gotta bring up an issue. It's a little embarrassing. Now you just reminded me of something.
That barrel actually wasn't shot out?
No, it was actually really shot out.
Oh, okay.
half inch of throat erosion. I
nice.
just got my new barrel a couple of days ago. I got it all sighted in, I think, well, I don't even know what today is, Tuesday. So I got it sighted in Sunday. But let me grab it. Let's say this is really embarrassing, and this all started from Paul. This is all linked together from when we talked about that episode about cleaning barrels. That's when I found out something was wrong with my really nice BSF barrel, right? So jump forward. Let me just grab this.
Uh-oh. Now what did he do? This could be good, kids.
Oh, yeah. And I'm sorry, listeners. It's just every episode you may have to hear something about scopes because I don't know anything, and that's what you guys are here for.
Okay.
Look at that fancy.
I know.
And this is actually a cheaper barrel, so I'm not too upset if I can't salvage this. But
salvage.
Okay.
Is it that bad?
I think we need to put him solo on this.
Yeah.
Okay. So if anyone has any ideas, I'm open to anything because I am anyway. Okay. So I thought I got this brand new barrel in yesterday, and I was cleaning it up before I was going to mount it up to build another AR, and I kind of looked down the barrel and I was like, oh, that's kind of dirty. Need to run a patch through this. And I thought, just run a snake through it right now. But I thought, you know what? I got my nice carbon fiber cleaning rod right here. Let me just throw a wet patch on here and run it through. So I started pushing it through, and then all of a sudden it got hard to push it. And I couldn't pull it backwards, but I could go forwards with it a little bit at a time. So I gently took and I just tapped it on the concrete ground, thinking I'll work it all the way up until the jag and the patch comes out and everything will be fine. Well, the jag comes out. There's no patch on the end of it. And I can't get the rod back out. Either I can't go that way. Long story short, after frustration that I'm sure everyone has gone through, this is what it looks like. And don't judge me. And I had no other choice. So you can see there's a broken carbon fiber rod there and broken off at this other end here too.
Oh.
And I cannot get this out. And since it's carbon fiber, when I try to push it with anything, it just falls apart and basically wedges in. I've tried grabbing on. That's why it looks like this, because it ends up breaking off. I would grab onto it with my vise in the shop. Made a little thing where I could take wood and pound on here trying to tap it out, but it would just kept breaking off. But this thing is in there, and this is brand new last night. I have not been able to get this out.
So let me make sure I'm following this. That barrel is brand new.
Brand spanking new last night. I got it in.
And that was a pretty new carbon fiber cleaning rod.
It was. Yeah.
Yeah.
So the patch is in here somewhere. And that's
Okay.
what wedged this carbon fiber. I'm guessing, I don't know if it came off, the jag pushed it through and it just got stuck, or if it somehow went off to the side. But anyway, there's a patch in here somewhere, and this carbon fiber rod is stuck.
So GGW Reloading said put it in the oven at low temp to soften the carbon fibers.
So that's perfect. I was actually on the way home tonight. I was thinking if I needed to set this out in the sun Friday when I'm home and get this hot and see about doing something like that.
What's your temps for Friday?
Probably 100 something, 101.
My thought would be pour some sort of lighter fluid down the barrel and light it, see if you can burn the patch. But
So, well,
I don't know how hot that would get. That's the problem.
I say the patch isn't the issue. I can't get past the rod there. It's jammed
But
up
if you're
both.
saying if the patch is what wedged in there, maybe if you get the patch out.
Yeah, but I got to get past this freaking rod. Who knows where the patch is anywhere in here.
Right.
I was hoping to pour something down here to soften, but carbon fiber, it's naturally chemical resistant and such. So I don't know what I could use to deteriorate this carbon fiber rod, but I cannot pull it out. I called the company today. The guy I needed to talk to wasn't available. I got to email him tonight. I'm hoping only other thing in its worst case scenario was take it to a machinist buddy and basically just hope he can drill it. Yeah. So tap a rod with the hammer, use it. That's why I'm in the situation I'm in now.
First off, soak it in Kroll. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Try this. Soak it in Kroll. Get a wood dowel, hardwood dowel that fits close to the barrel diameter, and then gently, tap and see what happens. And that's the best I can offer you.
Yeah. So the only problem with tapping it out with anything is you can see it's all frayed. So when you go to tap, I mean, if it was good and solid, I think that would work. But where it's so frayed, when I have tried, that's why. I mean, it ended up being,
Is that
long.
literally the end of the barrel?
Yeah.
Right there.
Yeah.
Okay.
There's the other end.
Yeah, but if you get it in with a close fitted dowel, it should keep the splitting to a minimum. In other words, as you start to hammer on the tap on the rod.
Yeah, I'm sure I'm not the only one who's ever ran into this, but yeah, I couldn't believe dang Paul and his cleaning.
Yeah, I know.
It's really.
I've ruined another barrel.
Well, actually, no, Paul, because you don't recommend carbon fiber cleaning rods.
No, that's true. I don't.
Travis had to go fancy and get the carbon fiber cleaning rod.
Yeah.
So note to self: listen to Paul about the rods.
So yeah, I started off with the end of this carbon fiber rod had that brass end the jag screws into.
Right.
That was a good spot to. At that point I knew the rod was going to be destroyed, so that's where I started tapping, trying to get it to work its way out. I shot some penetrating oil down here, hoping that would do something. Eventually, that just broke off, and then it just started getting shorter and shorter and shorter. And then I started grabbing onto it with the vise, and it would just fray. And it just, so yeah. It might be a lost cause, but like I say, this wasn't a very expensive barrel. And this might just be one of those expensive lessons learned. But
I was just wondering why they would send such a dirty barrel to you. I mean,
It looked. Say, if I named the company, I'm sure people out there can recognize this, but it's a very cheap barrel. It was like $150,
oh, okay.
but nobody.
Oh yeah. Well, you know.
Yeah, that's a job and a half.
Yep. Okay. So I'm making hunting rounds. We're gonna go for fun. Paul, what should we make hunting rounds for? Not prairie dogs.
Well, a hunting round. I mean, we're deer hunting, or we're gonna go elk hunting, or antelope, or mule deer.
I think deer sounds good. That's probably the biggest thing hunted in North America.
Yeah,
Would be whitetail.
whitetail deer. Then you got a lot of crossover in the Travis's area, with between mule deer and whitetail.
Yep. And then you got blacktails out there every once in a while. And
so yeah, that's just we could just sit down and say deer hunting. Period.
All right, let's do deer hunting. So,
bolt action or lever action?
Bolt.
All right. So we're gonna reload for a bolt action deer rifle.
Yep. Honestly, for this conversation, I don't think cartridge matters.
No, cartridge does not matter.
Nope.
No, it don't matter if you're shooting 223 or you're shooting 458 Win mag. It don't matter.
Nope.
First thing that you got to do is we're starting off with a fired case because we're reloaders. So we're going to start with a fired case. We don't need to go into a lot of prep on it. We need to clean it.
Yep.
We need to inspect it.
Yep. Why do you clean it before you inspect it?
I'm going to clean it before I inspect it because sometimes I can't see stuff if it's dirty. I mean, if it's got a lot of soot around it, or it's it's sat around for the year and it's got grunge on it, I want to clean it up and see what I'm looking at.
Exactly. If you don't get it clean, you can miss stuff.
Split neck or impending case head separation or something like that could be there because I just didn't, it's dirty. I didn't see it. Clean it. So I'm going to go clean it.
Yep.
All right. What would be next?
Once you clean it, and we've inspected our brass, we've made sure that we're all good to go. In the chat, Jorgen's kind of going through a little more detailed step-by-step, talking about how to pick powder and bullets and stuff. We'll cover that too, but if somebody wants to actually see it written down, Jorgen's got a good thing going in the chat. So, well, we've got it clean now. Mm-hmm. Now we need to size it.
So how are we going to size that?
Well, first off, we got to get lube. We got to get lube on that case.
Okay.
Or we're going to find those cases like I found the other day on eBay, or Nick found on eBay. There was 4 boxes of dyes for $100, and the reason they were on eBay is because there was brass stuck in them.
Yeah.
So we had a good laugh about that. But yeah, so lube. Make sure you follow the directions for the lube. There's lots of make your own stuff too. The only one I'll recommend is the lanolin and rubbing alcohol type. So
I'm doing a hunting load, so I'm going to use Imperial sizing wax because I'm going to reload 40 of them, maybe. Or 50,
Exactly. Yeah.
You know,
I don't need to be too serious about it. So yeah, I'll just grab my tin of Imperial sizing wax.
run them through
Maybe
my
my
fingers.
Hornady one shot. I don't know.
There you go. It don't matter, but we're going to lube the cases and
Yep.
follow the directions on the lube to make sure we don't stick a case.
Especially Hornady one shot. See, most people forget to read that whole let lube dry part.
Yes.
So, which is one of the reasons why Hornady one shot has a really bad name, and there's actually nothing wrong with using it. You just need to have to follow directions. Anyway, so we lube it. Now we grab our decapping die and sizing die, which is all one. We're not grabbing our FW Arms universal decapping die because we need to actually size this case. So we're going to grab our regular sizing die. We're just going to talk this through tonight, kids. We're not going to go through and do a full setup on it. So, but we're going to take our sizing die. We're going to take our whatever press we're using. If it's a single stage or a turret, it's a little easier to do than a progressive. Typically, I'm not going to load my hunting rounds on a progressive anyway, but if you do, good on you. So I am going to run my ram all the way up to its maximum position. I'm going to take that decapping and sizing die. I'm going to screw that all the way down until it touches my shell. Oh, I didn't mention shell plate or shell holder in this case. So, the other reason I'm not doing it is I got to pin this mount down. So this is a cool little thing called a shell holder. And it's very, very needed for all of your single stage presses. Your progressives are going to use different setups, but you're going to set that in there. Then you're going to put your die, run that ram all the way up. Then you're going to run that die all the way down until it touches. And then run the ram down. Typically, I will put a piece of brass in there and see what it's set. Usually I wind up turning it another quarter turn and then locking it down. But what you're looking to see is you're looking to make sure that the decapping pin, once you've run that brass all the way up through, is sticking out the bottom of the brass. And you can kind of do this without the brass in there, and you're just looking into the shell holder and making sure that the decapping pin goes down below flush on the shell holder where the brass where the head would sit. So once you get that set, adjust your lock ring or whatever locking system you're using, and go ahead and resize all your cases, put them in your loading block, and then you'll have something. Ooh, 4350. Just kidding.
So, okay, so we've sized the cases.
Yep.
Next, we're going to take and we're going to measure them to make sure that we're not too long.
Correct.
So
if you have a comparator, you can do it that way. Otherwise, you can just grab your good old-fashioned
calipers and
yep.
Measure up, or if you got one of those old RCBS gauges where the metal ones where you put them in to check.
Yeah, you can do that.
You know, however it is, check.
Actually,
yeah.
I have one of those Lyman ones around here somewhere. I don't know where the heck it is.
There we go. Travis has got the gauges there, the plastic.
Yeah, that's it.
Yes.
So
if you got those will work. You're just checking to make sure that you're not too long,
too short,
or too short. Too long is bad, because if you're too long, you could get increased pressure and have problems with your reloads and chambering and all kinds of other things. So take it from there. We're going to check that, trim as needed. All right.
Yep. So,
all right. Now, before I go any farther on this, I'm going to open up a reloading book. And
there's still one other stage we can do before we got to get to the book.
I'd like to look to see if I got any special primer or anything else that they're looking at.
True.
So I may open up 2 or 3 books and try to get a decision.
Yeah.
Based upon what they have used. So number one, I'm going to look at the bullet.
Yeah.
So I'm going to find a good deer hunting bullet. In other words, a bullet that's going to expand on the deer that I'm going to shoot. I am going to look to see if there's a powder there that I have, because we're in the tight times today of
Right.
not having powders, because I may have a super hot load that they're saying is the most accurate load listed in the book, but you ain't got that powder.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm going to look at that, the primers, and decide on what I'm going to shoot. Okay.
Yep.
So I'm going to deer hunting bullet. What's the range I'm going to shoot? What kind of range am I going to be shooting, guys? Less than 100 out to 300.
Yeah.
Okay. Less than 100 out to 300. I can shoot any of the bullets that are out there, from even a flat base bullet. So I'm flat base soft point to a bowtail soft point, to a ballistic tip. Not going to worry about 300 yards. Is not a difficult shot for a deer cartridge. Okay, so I'm going to sit there and say 300 yards, pick a bullet, pick a load, and a range of loads with the powder that I have. And I am going to start with inspecting my primer. First, taking off the lube and inspecting the case, and again inspecting the case and the primer pocket at that point. I'm not going to do anything difficult, but I'm going to take a little wire brush from RCBS or a plastic brush or whatever. Just kind of rub out the primer pocket and to get majority of the junk out of it. Wipe the case down and put it aside in my loading block so I can proceed to prime.
How are you going to prime them?
The easiest way, if my press has a primer, a priming system, I can use my press priming system. Say like a rock chucker's got a swing, a tube and a swinging arm that you push over and prime. Yep. You can, a hand primer from RCBS or Hornady. Just a real quick note, guys. Be careful with some of the Hornady ones. They've had a few problems with a couple of them that have exploded with the hand priming system. And wear safety glasses and hearing protection when you're priming.
Yep.
PPE. So a hand primer, even a single primer, from like Sinclair or any of them. I mean, you can put one in, squeeze it, put another one in, squeeze. Any of those can work. Lee, anything that gives you a little bit of a feel is what I say. So I'm going to prime the case to there. Next is going through and make my ladder loads of how I'm going to test out my powder charge.
Okay.
For normal hunting cartridges, I'm going to work in half grain increments. I'm not going to go, two tenths of a grain.
Okay.
Half grain is fine. I'm going to load up 3 rounds of each one, of each half grain increment, and seat to seat my bullets to a safe depth. So when I check the rounds with the firing pin removed in my gun, that as they cycle through, I don't get any hang-ups. I don't get any bullets sticking in there. They're a clean feeding reload. Then I'll go to the range, proceed to test out my loads. Some people may have want to do more work on it, may want to shoot more bullets, but I'm looking at finding a load that seems to work. I mean, the best 3-shot group that at a velocity that I think is good, and then I will load up more and then proceed to practice at different yardages, and having that one, getting to that one load quickly gets me to a point where I can put more time in shooting for practice than shooting to reload, because I want to scratch that last tenth of an inch off of the group.
Okay.
1 inch is perfectly acceptable.
Yeah, for hunting rounds, 1 inch MOA is perfect, or 1 inch groups is perfect. So, I don't think, I mean, if you want to, if you want to go for smaller, game on, but you should try and shoot, at least a 1 inch. You want your hunting rounds to be accurate enough, and you want it to be ethical. So,
if you're honest with yourself, you're shooting a 1 inch group at 300 yards. You're shooting a 3 inch group, right?
Yep.
So
which is still smaller than a minute of deer.
Right. And a white-tailed deer is at least a 6 inch
Kill zone.
So you're still half of the kill zone. So if you're not doing completely 100% of your part, you still have 50% larger area to hit with that 1 inch group. So, and that's where the practice comes in.
Yeah.
Because, that's, we go shoot, shoot 20 rounds that day, come back the next week, shoot another 20 rounds, come back repeatedly and shoot, and don't go 5-shot groups, shoot 3 shots. I haven't seen a deer stand there for 5 shots in a long time. Okay. So
I haven't seen a deer stand there for 2 shots, much less 3.
Yeah. I mean, every once in a while you get one that sits there and looks at you and goes, "What? Huh?
What was that?"
Yeah.
Right.
Exactly. So, but 3-shot groups, you don't need anything more than a 3-shot group for hunting load. Put it into your practice, guys. 3-shot group, shoot a 3-shot group. And get the F off the bench.
Yeah.
Shoot prone. Shoot off of a knapsack. Shoot off your knees with a bipod.
However you're going to be shooting when you're hunting. If you're sitting in a chair and you're holding the rifle like this, then that's how you shoot at the range.
Right.
Because if you've got it in your lead sled and you're going like this, unless you've got, a redneck hunting blind you're hunting from, and you've got the lead sled out there and it's on a rotating thing so you can spin it around, using your lead sled to practice your hunting rounds is not a good idea. For sighting in,
I still have not seen a lead sled being able to get enough downward elevation. Okay?
Not usually. No, not usually.
So.
Lead sleds have their purpose, and I just throw out lead sled because it's the one that comes to mind. There's literally a plethora of different shooting rests and stuff that you can use for the range. But
I've never been much for shooting with a lead sled. I'll be honest with you.
I don't put weight in it. I just use it as a rest.
Yeah, a lot of people put weight into it, and
then you start causing problems with your rifle.
Yeah.
So
you can knock scopes off. You can break rifle stocks. You can do all kinds of things, but yeah, shoot from the where how you're gonna hunt.
Mm-hmm.
If your range won't let you shoot from other than a bench, well, use a bipod, okay, or use you rest your elbows on the bench.
Yeah.
Do something that's different than sitting there putting it in a bag and a tripod type deal and shoot that way. And again, 3-shot groups.
Always.
And you get tired, stop. Don't waste it.
Yep.
People get, especially when you're shooting bigger, 338 Lapuas, you're shooting 300 Win Mags.
Even odd 6, honestly.
Yeah.
After a while.
20 rounds, 21 rounds at 7 groups. Stop.
Yep.
You don't need more than that.
Nope. Honestly, if you're out there to practice 5 3-shot groups, that's 15 rounds, away you go.
Yeah.
So, Prepared to Survive wants to know what caliber is adequate for taking white-tailed deer using homemade cast lead bullets. Would 44 mag, 429 diameter be the minimum, or would a wide flat point 357 mag lead bullet be okay? So I'm guessing that Prepared to Survive is specifically talking about handgun loads, unless he's using a lever gun.
Yeah, it could be using a lever gun or a Ruger.
357 is perfectly fine.
Right.
So
yeah.
Ed wants to know about 5-shot groups. No, overkill. Just shoot your 3-shot groups. Yeah, so he's talking about carbine. Yeah, 357 would be fine. So, because you can actually, I know people have actually used like high point carbines with 9mm on whitetail effectively. So,
yeah, 357 is a better choice than 9mm though, guys.
Absolutely.
Okay, you have a whole lot of choice of bullets there, and you can get a good sharp-shouldered semi-wad cutter that will cut a nice clean hole through a deer and let the deer bleed out quickly. So
PA Reloader said 30-30. Yeah, we're not talking about lever guns. So lever guns are a whole different ballgame. So, running with scissors says, not gonna lie, once shot a doe in West Virginia while sitting in a child's My Little Pony seat, 30-06. However, she was only 50 yards away. Couldn't tell me nothing. I was the man that day. True story. It's awesome. So, Jorgen kind of answered Ed's combination too. I think that something important to remember is a 3-shot group might not be enough definite proof of a great load, but it is usually enough to show bad loads, letting you eliminate loads and save components. So yeah, that's kind of one of the big things there. I guess if you really want to do a 5-shot group for load development, knock yourself out, but not for practice. Practice 3-shot groups.
Yeah, and how long do you think barrels last on these guns when people go out and shoot 3-shot groups or 5-shot groups, and they shoot 5-shot group, they immediately load another 5 rounds in, they go shoot another 5-shot group. Let the damn gun cool down. That's the nice thing about a 3-shot group. You can sit down, shoot 3 rounds, put the gun down, pick up a 22, do something else, and then go back to your 30-06 or your 270 or your 7 mag.
I always bring 22s to the range when I'm going, even if it's load development, because you got gun cooling time. Plus, 22s are great for practicing the basics.
It's nice to be able to warm up a little bit with a 22.
Especially if you haven't shot in a while.
Yeah.
So doing that can kind of help you from taking what could be an average load and making it look like a bad load.
Exactly.
Because instead of squeezing the trigger, you're slapping the trigger, jerking the trigger, and at 100 yards, that's a big difference.
Well, if you're sitting there in a lead sled, you can slap all you want. That's why that's why we're telling you to get down. Throw a bag on there, throw a knapsack on there, and shoot that way.
No, you can still, on the lead sleds, you can still screw it up because it's got that front.
Okay.
It's got a little bag it sits on the front.
Oh, okay.
It's not a V notch.
All right.
But even on the V notches, you can screw it up because you can roll it one way or the other. You can have it, not sitting in there. So, I mean, even with the rest, there's still things you can do to screw it up. So it just makes it a little more difficult.
So the whole thing in us reloading, we want as it comes down to, one is a load that we can practice with. 2 is a load that functions well in our gun and is accurate. So
and 3, that you're going to be able to load approximately 100 rounds, because you're going to want to spend probably about 60 for practice, 20 for load development, and then 20 for hunting.
Yeah. And for a normal hunting gun, hunting rifle, bolt action, I always say buy an MTM box and 100 pieces of brass that fits in there, and you're good to go. You can wear a barrel out with 100 pieces of brass in a hunting gun.
I hope not. I hope it lasts longer than that.
Well, I mean, you're not going to shoot I don't mean just 100 rounds, but I mean, by the time you wear that brass out, the barrel is pretty much shot on that gun. Let's call it let's call it like it is. You shoot, you get 10 reloads out of 100 pieces of brass. Okay.
Yeah. I missed the wear the brass out part.
Yeah. You gotta have, you gotta wear the brass out. That's the one.
Even without annealing the brass, you're still talking.
Lead sled is a must from Prepare to Survive.
For development, he's talking about. So I don't know.
I prefer a regular shooting rest, a tripod type 3-point type shooting rest for.
Yeah, you can use the tripod. You can use bipods.
Right.
If you get yourself some good bags that are loaded right. A lot of times, though, there's too much space in the bag because whoever filled them didn't fill them all the way, or didn't know how to fill them all the way. So
You can get bags that are too hard.
Yeah.
And you get bags that are too soft,
Yep.
and you just got to figure out which way it is. I like a rest with a shooting bag because one, I can adjust the rest the way I want it, and I can then put tape on my gun so it will slide in the forend rest
yeah,
bag, and then at the back end, have a just a small bag,
yeah. They make they make a little buttstock bag.
right, bunny rabbit bag, as I call them. Got a
Yeah.
couple of ears, and you can sit down and squeeze them and
Yep.
and adjust them,
Mm-hmm.
and that's all. And the whole thing is to make sure that the front end doesn't grab on the rest. The front
Yep.
end grabs on the rest, you're getting weird in free recoil. And that's just for sighting in.
Yeah.
After that, it's hard on a bag, knapsack, offhand off of a post on the range.
Mm-hmm.
So up with a bipod laying down on my stomach. Yeah, any of that.
Caldwell's got a new they've got their tack driver X bags, which are kind of interesting. They're not a flat bag like the old style. It's kind of more more along the lines of like the rear bags.
Okay.
But it's kind of an X, and that's where they got the silly name. But yeah, Primary Arms has got a bunch of shooting rests and shooting bags. The steady sticks, which is kind of what Paul was talking about a little bit, a version of. Then they've got like the Vanguard aluminum tripods, and they've got this different types of shooting sticks. They've got tables that you can haul around. I don't know why.
And then I can tell you why you have tables to shoot with, but okay.
Yeah, no, well, I mean, this is to haul around, not to necessarily. I mean, yeah, if you've got the ability to be able to do it, that's fine. There's all sorts of stuff. Browning makes a bag to put on your tree stand now. Interesting. On your shooting rail, they make a bag that attaches on there. That's kind of cool.
Yeah, they're in the PRS world. There's a couple of bags that work for throwing up on the rail too.
Yep.
That work for it. We got one here, running with scissors. Do you think we put too much emphasis on one MOA? Aren't most typical whitetail hunts less than 200 yards in most areas? Sure. Most of them are less than 200 yards.
Which one MOA is 2 inches.
Right. But
so no.
I'm just going to say, do we put a lot of emphasis on 1 minute MOA? Yeah, we do put a lot of emphasis on it, because I don't care who you are unless you're out in the field every day and guessing ranges. You can miss a distance of by 25 yards easy on a 250 yard shot. You can be either in or close. Out farther, 275 you could guess, in at 225. We put that in there so we can sit down and it kind of gives us a little bit of an edge. Or unless we're sitting there with a rangefinder all day long, a lot of guys don't get a chance to use a rangefinder at even at 200, at 300 yards. Nice to have. Is it an essential piece of gear? No. So,
Well, Travis has got to run because, kids don't wait for anything, especially when it gets to be bedtime. So, Travis, thanks for joining us. It's good seeing your face, and we'll look forward to seeing you again.
Yeah,
When you
I'll
can
try
make
to.
it back.
I'll try to come on next week.
So,
All
yep.
right. See you
Family
guys.
first, as we talked about a long time ago when you first talked about joining. I always told you family first. So
You
join
did.
us when you can, and we greatly appreciate your time.
Okay. See you guys.
Take
thank
care.
you
Later,
for all
Travis.
the info today.
Yep.
So yeah, I don't think we put too much emphasis on one MOA. Because as I said before, you want your kill to be ethical, and if you're not putting an emphasis and making your ammunition accurate and practicing it, then you're opening yourself up for gut shots or leg shots where it runs off, and then you're not hunting ethically. So
I think you made a real point here, though, is that the practice is along with our 1 minute of angle goes a long way towards it.
right.
Because if you can get the gun to shoot in a rest at 1 minute of angle, but you can't get the gun to shoot at 1.5 inches
Out of the rest,
well,
you need to work on yourself.
Yeah, you need to do some work.
Excuse me.
So, I don't knock anybody because I'm probably the worst person in the world that sits down and says, "Yeah, the gun's got to shoot better than 1 minute of angle." If I could, I'm happy when I get a gun to shoot a 1/2 minute. But the jerk behind the trigger, which is me, knows that it's even with all the money that I spend into a gun and reloads and everything else, as I'm out in a hunting situation, and I mean hunting. Yeah, I know I'm a 1 minute man, a 1 minute of angle shooter. If I've gotten enough practice in, and if I haven't, then I'm really in some bad shape shooting. So
What about you, Nick?
Don't do much rifle reloading for hunting because we can't do rifle hunting here in Illinois, unfortunately.
Right.
So, and if we do shotgun, it's all got to be factory loaded. So,
Well, that's stupid.
yeah, even with the new rifle season, everything's going to be factory loaded.
How do they know?
My point exactly. But
Thank God politicians are morons when it comes to writing gun laws. So anyway,
that's why I won't rifle hunt. It's just there's enough idiots out there bow hunting on public land.
Yep.
I'm not going to go out there with a rifle and take that chance.
Mm-hmm. So.
Well, now you're looking at places in Missouri. Now you're going to find
if that happens, absolutely, we'll start loading our own loads for. And I already got a 6.5 Creedmoor load that would work for hunting. It's just if that opportunity comes up, then I'd be ready. So,
mean, if it comes up, all you need is the license.
Well, I need
And
the
the
land first
tag.
of all.
Oh yeah, you could do public.
I could. I just with the idiots that
52
are out there,
exquisite. I'm just kidding.
with the idiots that are out there in this world, I'd rather pass on that.
Missouri is not bad as far
No.
as public land hunting. I have, I've hunted a couple of places there, and it's not bad. There's there's room to hunt.
I can say for Missouri, when I've gone out, even solo, even I've not encountered any problems, and that's speaking volumes.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, and it's getting very expensive to hunt whitetails if you don't have your own property.
Mm-hmm.
That's true.
That's why I bow hunt here in Illinois. I can do public land. It's free. All I gotta do is buy my tags, and it's a 2-pack. A buck and a doe tag's $25. So it's still pretty cheap to do it.
Yeah.
Here, so
Mm-hmm.
that's not licensed, but license is only like $15. I think I'm gonna do it for like $35 a year, roughly. So it's not bad.
Yeah. Now Missouri will definitely cost you more than that because you're not a resident.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah. But for me, it's what, $25
Yeah.
for my license a year, and then my tags cost me $30 max if I want like 2, I think, or something. I forget.
Well, hopefully at that point, if we do get land, we'll have enough land to where I can have landowner tags with my dad. At that point, hopefully, would be the goal. So
yeah, because landowner tags, I think, were just about free.
Yeah, as far as I know, they were free.
I mean,
I just gotta apply for them, really, if I remember right.
I walked into the DNR station when I first bought the land, and they started printing the tickets off, because they're a peel and stick. I think I got 3 does, a buck for gun season, and then I had 2 fall turkeys, 2 spring turkeys, and 3 2 does and a buck for archery. So yeah, 3, 5 deer, 6 deer, 6 deer, 6 deer, 4 turkeys.
Well, Nick, when y'all get to that point, I can get you in touch with someone that can let you know the steps you'll need to go through so you don't miss anything.
Okay.
So I have a direct person I can.
I need to hook up with you if we're over there go shooting sometime.
Bet.
Well, I need to get you hooked up with my sister first of all, because she lives over there now. So
yes, and she's not far from me. She's probably 20-minute drive from me.
Yeah, because she's right downtown. Mm-hmm. Well, she's the old Power Light building.
Yeah,
that's where she lives. So
I know where it's at. I used to work right like 4 blocks from here.
Okay. Yep. She's actually going to look at a dog tomorrow. So.
Oh, what breed?
Australian Shepherd.
Aww.
And potentially is getting a outstandingly deal. I think it's like $80.
What?
Yeah. That's what I was like, what?
Hell, if she don't want it, I might have to be like, yo, honey, you got to go.
Well, it's down between her and one other family, so we'll see.
Well, in Missouri, there's a lot of Amish puppy mills you can get dogs at. That's where we get most of our rescues from. I keep hoping that Missouri will actually step up and shut them down, but unfortunately, state of Missouri really doesn't care. So PETA needs to go after them, but they won't. So that's the one thing I found that PETA would be useful for, is going after the Amish puppy mills. But anyway,
y'all know how PETA people are sometimes,
right?
They're a little backwards.
They're a lot backwards, which is why I want to sick them on the Amish puppy mills. So you should see some of the dogs that we've gotten from the Amish. They're pretty rough shape. because they treat all of their animals like livestock, but they actually treat their livestock like PETA reports that most actual farmers treat their livestock. The only difference is the actual farmers don't treat your livestock that poorly, but the Amish do, as a general. Not all Amish, there are some exceptions, but anyway. So, yeah, Wisconsin's actually, for the most part, there's a lot of good public hunting opportunities, and we've got a lot, like especially around me. I mean, Madison. You're talking second largest city, and within 45-minute drive of Madison, there's 2 different 5,000-acre public hunting ground properties, along with another 6 that are at least 1,000 acres. So,
and if you go up north, you hit
you got the national forest.
You got the national forest up there, and that's from about a third of the way down, going all the way north.
Yeah.
I mean, you got a third of the state that's covered in national forest.
There's what, 1.5 million acres, something like that.
I used to hunt the Nicolet National Forest, and holy cow!
Yep.
I mean, you wouldn't see it, other than getting in, you wouldn't see anybody.
I was fortunate last year. I only saw one guy. The one spot I always was going to. There was one guy. I was always hiking 1.5 miles back in. I'd get there super early, walk in, and nobody was back there. So, but the one day I did run into a guy, and good guy, but he was from Michigan. It's like, really, dude? You come down here to hunt public land? And it's not like it's Pike County either. It's
right.
It's like Christian County or one of the other counties.
Maybe he's on a challenge coin mission, hunting all 50 states.
Illinois has got some really good deer hunting land.
We absolutely do.
It's not like it's Texas, Illinois still got really good sized deer.
We absolutely, but it's Pike County is what we're known for, and
well, I mean that's the same here. Everybody wants to go to Buffalo County. I was like, no, but it's funny. The state record isn't even out of Buffalo County. So,
same here. State record's not even. It's out of Peoria County of all places.
Which is weird, but
yeah, nobody would think that, but it's at that Bass Pro here in Peoria. So
yeah. DWD37 wants to know if he can go bear hunting on Wisconsin public. Yes. You do not have to go through an outfitter to hunt anything in Wisconsin. If you can get a tag for it, you can go hunting it without an outfitter. In fact, probably most of the bear hunting is done on public ground. So, Sharonda, you're making noise.
Oh, sorry. I thought I hit mute.
Anyway.
Yeah, there's a lot of people that just bear hunt up
in the forest.
Yeah.
So,
and they bait.
Well, yeah, I mean, you can bait. So usually a lot of people, if they do any scouting, sometimes they'll put out bait piles, but they've restricted the amount of bait you can put out and the amount of time you can put out the bait now. So,
right.
Which is a good thing because it kind of, I mean, it takes away the advantage that the locals had where they'd bait all year. So, and same thing with deer hunting. When we went up to Rhinelander a couple times, we were hunting on paper company proper land. Well, fortunately for them because it's them, and not fortunately for us because we're traveling up there. But there was locals that had, their bait piles out year round. So
right, yeah, the apples and all that kind of stuff. Yeah, and they kind of put a stop to some of that. But if you hunting up in the Nicolet National Forest and areas like that, get a chainsaw out. Cut a tree down.
Yep. So, Ray Rowden said the Reloading Podcast Deer Camp. That would be fun.
If he could type first. He needs to learn to type. He must be on his phone.
That's funny. Yeah. I saw what he actually said, but I figured I'd translate for him. Oh, I don't know. Maybe he wants Jordy to show up. Anyway. Running with Scissors wants us to talk about maybe reloading polymer coated bullets. That's a good topic. So we'll look into that and do some more research. I've loaded some of the polymers. I don't remember the company. I ordered them a couple of years ago for $380, and they seem to load up about the same as regular lead, but I know not all of them do. So we'll get into those. So. See, that's the beautiful thing. Jorgen now says this was once a poetry reading podcast. Yes. See, that's the beautiful thing. It's my damn podcast, and I'll do what I want with it.
Exactly.
So, as I've told a couple of people that really bitched at me a couple of times, if you don't like the podcast, start your own. So, but I know most of the people are just giving me crap, especially Jorgen. So, but yeah, running with scissors. Yeah, we'll definitely get into that, and I definitely want to get into that because the nice thing is I probably will do that as a high tech versus powder coating versus polymer. It makes enough sense because none of those, I mean, unless we went step by step on how to do high tech coating and how to do polymer coating, or I mean, powder coating, none of them are really a full show by themselves. So anyway, excuse me. So if you're looking for shooting bags, swing over to primaryarms.com. I got a bunch of different options. And the coupon code for Primary Arms is FRN. If you are buying a Primary Arms optic, you get a free optics cleaning kit this month. So they're switching it up a little bit. Anyway, so we do not have the new patch of the month. Unfortunately, Jake ran into some production problems. So here is the previous month's, the July one. So this was Patriot Brew. The new one is keeping with the beach theme. It's a tiki monster surfing, holding, I think it was a scar, but I don't remember. I didn't really look close enough. So, and then it's got a nice cool saying with it. So, but yeah, check out Patriot Patch Company, patriotpatch.co. They got lots of cool stuff, lots of and a lot of times when they run a patch of the month, they're going to run a corresponding patch that goes with it that you can purchase extra if you want, or I mean, it's got a whole bunch. I got an entire drawer full of patches here. Let's see here. Well, okay, so this was March's. Believe in a higher power. Browning high powers. Looking for something. Oh, so like here. Stay Puft Marshmallow Man running a MP5 with NVGs. This is another patch of the month. Then they've got they make vinyls that you can get separate. A lot of the vinyls are also patches. So lots of different stuff. So Michael Dunn said he started a wall of patches. I have decreed that when I finally find my house that I'm looking for and move in, I will have a wall of patches in the reloading room. So, but that's all this. That's all I got for now. Once again, thanks Travis for joining. Jason will try and join us this fall when life slows down a little bit, but he's enjoying the homesteading life and working a lot right now. So,
he's got his garden to play with.
Yeah. And he hasn't figured out how to sucker his wife into doing everything in the garden. So,
well,
so
she's good at driving the tractor.
I know she
does.
is.
She does good on that.
I think she smacked him in the head a couple of times with that bucket, and so that's what kind of convinced him that, oh yeah, that's not gonna work.
I thought he had figured out all he had to do was tell her she's not allowed to garden, and then she'll start gardening.
Yeah, but she's still not doing it all. She knows better. So, Besides, if he has her do all the gardening, who's going to make him drinks? Anyway, so, and if you think this is anything that Jason hasn't said, you need to listen to back episodes because, yeah.
Oh, please. If you're on his Facebook,
right?
he chimes in on his butt, too.
Oh, Kathy's a riot. So. We tried to talk her into coming on the show one time. She almost was convinced. So, anyway, anybody else got any shout outs?
No,
Not yet.
not yet.
Alrighty. So, take time to thank everybody for tuning in, giving likes, thanks, thumbs up, heads up. They're not heads up, but thumbs up, likes. And if you like the show and you listen to it on the podcast, not real live, make sure you leave a review. If you don't like the show, leave a review too. So let us know. I it's not everybody's cup of tea. We do have different nights where we do different things, and sometimes we're not always, I understand that not everybody listens every week. For those of you who do, I think you need to go see a counselor. But that's, neither here nor there. You're just as jacked up as the rest of us. Anyway, so
We have a lot of those people here that.
Yeah, we have a good following that are just as messed in the head as the rest of us. So
they get in line for our electroshock treatments, and yeah.
No, they just hang out with you, Paul, to sniff the gunpowder. Oh my gosh, that explains a lot. This is Jorgen's weekly counseling session. Oh my gosh.
No wonder he's so screwed up.
Well, I mean, he's Canadian, so I mean that's the start of it. But... and he's from the outward provinces, so that's another thing. But anyway, so on that note, gang, keep your brass shiny.
Jump on the Millsap short bus.
Teach a lady how to reload, and then let us pinch off your stash just a little bit.
Grandpa told me not to listen to my mama. He said that violence does solve problems.
And sometimes you just need to properly apply the use of high explosives. So, Michael Dunn said, get out, check your stands, make sure they're okay, and replace your straps. Be safe out there. Absolutely. If you've got a hunting stand that's out, those straps that tie that to the tree, you should be inspecting them quite often. And honestly, especially if it's one of the nice ones that just uses regular ratchet straps, you should replace those yearly.
And put a safety chain on.
Yeah, absolutely have a safety chain. And make sure it's one of the nice chains that's coated so it doesn't rust.
Right.
So be safe. Make sure, obviously, when you're putting the stand up, it's a little different, but there's still ways to put stands up and be safe while you're anchoring them down. But once you get that stand up, make sure you get something hung up on that tree so you can use it while you're going up and down the ladder to keep you in the stand. So make sure that since we're talking about that, make sure that somebody knows where you're going and when you're going and what time you're going to be back.
Mm-hmm.
And make sure that person that knows if they do not hear from you, they need to call the authorities right away. So, and
look on with the on spot they have is a locating thing, and even if you go with the lowest service is only like $9-10 a month, it can get you out of trouble, guys. I mean, you hit a button and it sends out an alert, and with your GPS coordinates. So,
no trying to figure it out. Android watches kind of have a 911 feature. This is the one thing that I think Apple did right, and Android needs to get off the schneid and do is the Apple watches actually have a feature you can dial 911 from the watch, and it will relay your GPS coordinates. So that's the one thing that, so make sure you're using your heads. Be smart, be safe. So the days of being
unloaded
dumb.
firearms down first, up.
Yeah.
Unloaded
Do not.
firearms. Yes.
My last year that I was a hunter safety instructor, there was a sister that killed her brother because they were pulling a loaded firearm up. So.
Yep. So, be safe out there. We all want you back here.
Yep.
For your treatments.
That's right. Speaking of treatments and seriousness, if you're struggling, 1-800-H.
No.
Oh, that's right. They changed it. It's now 3 digits.
Yes.
988.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, it's official.
It's official.
Well, that's
988.
If you're having difficulties, you need somebody to talk to. 988 is now the official number in the United States.
Should have been done a long time ago, but
so. Yep, 988. So the 1-800-273-8255 is still active, but 988's faster, and 988 you can also text. So, but
it's there for you.
Yeah, it's
there for you.
Another tool in the toolbox.
Right.
And asking for help is not chicken shit. It's bravery. So, thanks, gang.
Thank you, people. Everybody.
Indeed.
Have a good night.
Good night, folks.